Good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, September 29th. Today is a lazy, productive day. I've moved to my living room, hence my setup right here. The last couple days I've been like couch rotting and watching Gilmore Girls, which I've always struggled to get into Gilmore Girls because the first couple of episodes are like kind of boring as you get like introduced to all the characters and stuff. But if you push through, it gets really good. And so I'm almost on season 3 now, and so it's been really good and I enjoy it like as a background show. So I need to work on work stuff today. We have our third quarter newsletter that needs to get written, and I'm the one who puts that together, so I need to get going on that. Which is why I've moved to the living room, because I just work best if I can have a little bit of a distraction going on behind the scenes, because otherwise I will distract myself. And so I was just working and then it started hailing. Good afternoon, everybody. Today is Tuesday, September 30th, and we're going into POTS Awareness Month, and so I'm gonna be doing a clean with me video when you have POTS. So cleaning is one of the most challenging things for me personally with POTS. I was someone who loved cleaning before I got sick. It was so satisfying to be able to just like get your house super duper clean, and now my house is never super duper clean because I just physically can't do that by myself, and my husband works full-time and so he does what he can. So today specifically we're having family come over, and even though they're not going to be in our house, I do just want to do some basic tasks, so things that I've already done off camera. So first, salt. So these are the Salt Stick electrolyte tablets. The flavor here is lemon lime. There you go. I love those tablets because they work really fast, for me anyways. So I always start off by taking some salt. It's also almost time for me to take my next dose of POTS meds, so I will be feeling more potsy and symptomatic now. So I will have to pause and take my meds in a bit. But tasks that I've already completed off camera, I just barely put a load of laundry in the washer, but I got my husband to carry it there for me because for some reason when things are really heavy, it shoots my heart rate up higher. And so I got my husband to carry it and I put it in the washer, and then I just quickly swept from just like behind the toilet. And I was sitting down when I was doing the bending over parts, so I still feel very potsy, and so I decided that I would sit down and I would get my watch. So another helpful tool, if you don't have it, if you have an Apple Watch, you should get the app Tachymon. This is how it's spelt. It's so helpful because you can better track your heart rate, and it will also alert you when your heart rate is over a 30 beat threshold or higher, and it can also track it so that you can see what your heart's doing during the day. It also will vibrate or buzz when your heart rate drops 30 to 50 beats or whatever you set your threshold at as well. We're gonna take my POTS meds. So I take POTS meds 3 times a day, and I find this container to be very helpful. So in the morning, I take ibuprofen, midodrine, and mistinin. So I need a combo of those 3 to keep my heart rate in check, and then throughout the rest of the day it's just the mistinin and midodrine. So we're gonna take that. My watch is an older model, and so it does take quite a bit for it to start tracking my heart rate, and it takes longer if I am standing because my heart rate is jumping around a lot. So we're just gonna sit here until it starts monitoring. So since sitting here and resting, it just jumped a bit since talking, but it was at like 64, 67, and now we're at 74. So we're gonna start on our tasks now. And this is where I show you my next hack. This hack is that I use my wheelchair on days either when I'm feeling really potsy but need to complete tasks around my house, or if I need to complete multiple tasks around my house. So because I'm having family over, I have to complete a couple of tasks. Normally I would only do one task, and that would be my only task for the day, but I have a few tasks to do. And so one of those being vacuuming. Vacuuming is like my mortal enemy, but Matt has a day off today because it is a holiday here in Canada, but he is working outside on tasks that have also been needing to get done outside, so he's going to do that. So while he's doing that, I'm doing some of the indoor tasks. So in order to help myself complete these tasks, I do them from my wheelchair. So why is using a wheelchair helpful? This is because I trigger my POTS by having to run back and forth, and by having to walk around my house basically, or just standing for longer periods. I consider that longer periods. Vacuuming is longer periods for me. So in order to keep my POTS under control, I use my wheelchair, because then I can get around my house and I don't have to do that standing. Another thing is that I don't actually have my foot plates on. That way I can use my feet to like help propel me around the house, which also saves me energy as well, especially when I need to have things in my hands. So we're gonna get started by picking up around. About the sound that I just barely triggered. POTS thing, my heart rate was over like 115, which for me was like over 30 beats. And so what I was doing when that happened was I quickly got up and I didn't use my wheelchair to go and close windows, because my husband is pressure washing the house, and it triggered a rise in symptoms. This is why using my wheelchair is helpful, because already we're at 90 and it will continue to just go down. I'm sorry about the lighting, but we just triggered another one because of the standing and sitting, because I needed to reach the top shelves. So I'm going to take a bit of a break, and then I'm going to come back to my task. Okay, we have only completed half. We're gonna take more salt, and then we're gonna finish the vacuuming. And I feel like that might have to be my only task today. So potsy. Honestly, I've never completely done this from my wheelchair before, and my house is not wheelchair accessible. And so I'm feeling very frustrated and exhausted. POTS-y, even though my heart rate is not all that high, but you can experience POTS symptoms without shooting crazy high. So I'm actually gonna finish this out standing because it's just quicker to finish. So, and then I'm not doing anything else until my family comes later. Okay, we're calling it quits. I only did the vacuuming and I've swapped out the laundry. And that is going to be the tasks for the day. I'd wanted to get some dishes done. I'd wanted to clean the bathroom. Those things are all not happening because this is what it's like to, first off, have POTS, and second, this is just what it's like to have chronic illness in general. You just don't have the same capacity as everybody else. And that can be very frustrating, especially when you were able-bodied once, and now you have lots of limits, and it's hard to constantly have to save your energy and allot your energy to the most important things, and then just have to leave the rest. So it's just life. I'm gonna relax now for a while. My watch is vibrating because we've dropped 30 beats because for me, so my heart rate typically didn't go over, the highest I saw it go was 115, but if you saw my watch, at one point it dropped down to like 50. So that is over a 50 beat increase for me. And so that is still causing me to be very symptomatic. So even though my heart rates aren't jumping into like 140s, 150s, they do without medication, but on meds they don't. On meds they don't typically jump past 120, 130. And this time it was not jumping past 115, but that's still over 50 beats. And so I will still feel just as symptomatic as if I was jumping into the 120s, 130s, 140s, 150s. So that is just what POTS is like. You don't have to have a crazy high heart rate to be very, very symptomatic. It can literally just be 30 beats. So I'm gonna go rest now. Good afternoon, everybody. Today is Wednesday, October 1st. It's officially October, minus the burr part because it's 30, but whatever. Anyways, today I'm trying something new. So in one of the cities nearby, there is like an arts council, an arts facility or whatever, and they always host like classes and different things, and I'm always seeing like classes for pottery, and I've always wanted to do learn how to do the spinning wheel because that is the one. So like we got taught all that stuff in like art class, but that is the one year that I didn't take art, that's the year that they did the spinning wheels, and so I'm so devastated that I missed that. So I've always been wanting to try pottery for the spinning wheel part because I've done like hand building before, but I have never gotten to do the wheel. And so one of the art studios nearby, they always host different kinds of classes, and they have pottery classes, but they're just really expensive, and so it's just out of reach. But today they're hosting, or I guess this month and next month, they're hosting a couple of like free intro classes. So me and a friend are going to one of those intro classes today, so we're gonna try our hand at the wheel and see how we do, see how we like it. I don't know how much actual pottery we'll get to do because it's just a 1-2 hour class, but I'm excited, so we're gonna go do that. I don't even know if I'm dressed appropriately for doing a spinning wheel, but I figured I'm gonna risk it in order to look cute. You know, when you're chronically ill and you don't get out very often, looking cute is important. Good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, October 2nd, and I want to tell you about my pottery class that I took yesterday, but first I want to make a coffee. So I haven't had coffee in like a week because I was in some kind of SMAS flare-up where I pretty much couldn't tolerate anything in my mouth, And I thought, okay, this is the time when I completely lose my ability to eat or drink anything. But having like a week of like pretty much complete gut rest, now I'm able to manage my tiny bite and a few sips of something again. I think we're gonna test it out. We'll make some coffee, see how we do. This is a really large cup, but I have to celebrate fall while it's here. So for me, a small cup of coffee is about 3 to 4 days worth of coffee. So we're first gonna make it in a different mug, and then I'm gonna transfer what I wanna drink into this mug. I also only do decaf pods because my pods hates caffeinated coffee. That's the only other time that I'm very, very close to passing out is if I've had caffeinated coffee and my body knows within 20 minutes of drinking it. For some reason, my house smells very hospital-y today and I'm not loving it. We got the fall mug and we've got the pumpkin spice creamer. And it's delicious. So let me tell you about my pottery class yesterday. So I went with a friend because I did not want to go alone, and it was really fun. So it was just like a 2-hour class, and so the instructor did a lot of like the prep stuff for us, like the working of the clay and like getting like prepping your clay, that kind of thing, because that does take time, especially to teach people who haven't done it before. That part is something that I have done before, but like there were others in the class and my friend who had never done anything clay related before. So the teacher prepped all of the clay and then just taught us how to use the wheel. And so she gave us a demo, and then after that we were kind of like on our own devices to try and create something on a wheel, and she would like walk around and come help us as needed. So there was someone, it was really funny. So there was someone in the class, she was really funny, and like everyone who was in the class was really nice. And so we had gone around and we introduced ourselves and stuff, and if we had any clay experience or whatever. And like I already mentioned, I've had some hand building experience. And so this one girl had said, like, I've never done anything like this before, but I just have a feeling that I'm gonna be really good at it. And or like she was like, I'm gonna be a natural or something. It was just funny because she was the only one who walked away with not even creating anything. But she was very nice about that. Like she was like 8 months pregnant, so she's like, you know what, I'm just gonna have to try this again when I'm not 8 months pregnant. But she was so nice and so funny and just really fun to have in the class. But anyways, back to my piece. So I've never thrown on a wheel before, and I was shocked at how well I did. I actually felt like I was a natural at it. So I was able to throw something that actually looked like something. It turned into what is probably going to be like a little creamer container, because I made like a spout and everything on it. And it's not perfect, like it's not like I just threw like the perfect pot or whatever, but it's symmetrical and it looks like something, and I was pretty proud. I'm pretty proud of it. So I'll just put a little picture in right here. It's not finished. They're gonna fire it and glaze it for us. They're not gonna trim it or anything, so it's just gonna be fired and glazed. But I'm really happy that I could walk away with something. Yeah, it was a really cool experience, and who knows, maybe I'll take a couple of classes and actually learn how to do more techniques with it, because there were definitely parts that were hard. My nails were too long for that, so they were definitely getting in the way, but thankfully this nail had come off like right before I left for that, so I was able to trim it down, and that ended up being perfect for what I needed, to have one nail that was just shorter than all the others. There's definitely hand placement techniques that I need to learn to better shape things, because I could not get as far down to the bottom of my pot creamer container thing as I needed to. So the base is a little bit thick, and it's not symmetrical. Like there are thicknesses and thinness varieties around the container, but I'm really proud of it. So that was a good experience. Today is a rest day because I feel like I've worked very hard this week, and that's great because I felt well enough to be able to do all the things that I did this week. My family did not end up coming over on Tuesday because it took a bit longer than we expected to pressure wash the outside of the house, and then one of my brothers had canceled, and then we just decided to reschedule, so we ended up having a restful evening that evening. But my floors are vacuumed. Otherwise, today, planning to just read, maybe watch some Gilmore Girls, and then I have IV fluids in the late afternoon. But I wanted to tell you guys about an appointment that I have coming up. So I had originally wanted to make this video as like a how I prepare for doctor's appointments type video, and it hasn't turned into that because I am procrastinating my planning for this appointment. I have been dreading this appointment for months. Basically since getting back from Spain, I have been dreading this appointment because it's the appointment that I have with my GI to tell her the results from Spain, and she's not going to like it because she's been very vocal about not wanting people to go out of country, and she's been very adamant that I don't have compressions, but I do have compressions. And so it's hard to know when to defy your doctor because you don't, like, I'm a people pleaser. I walk into appointments and I care about my doctor's feelings, and I feel like I have to diminish what I'm feeling to not like upset my doctor or whatever. Like I've come a long way, like with how I approach doctor's appointments. But it's hard to defy your doctor. It's hard to disagree with them. And with this doctor, we have just been in a agree to disagree type doctor-patient relationship. Like she's nice and she's still trying to help me, but we just really disagree on what's going wrong inside of my body, because she just wants to say that it's just constipation and functional dyspepsia, but I have evidence, lots of evidence of compressions, and I do have compressions. So that's where we differ. And they as in my the Canadian doctors who have seen me regarding compressions have completely dismissed compressions as a whole. They just believe that they are far too rare and there's no possible way that anybody can have them, and even when they do have them, because as you might have seen in another video, he literally said that he could see them but said that I don't have them. Make that make sense. So anyways, that's kind of where I'm at with this doctor, and so I have to like basically go against my doctor and what she thinks is best for me to be able to help myself. And sometimes you do have to do that because you know your body best. Yes, your doctor has all of the professional training, but they probably only got a 30-minute lecture on your condition. And in my case, my GI has only seen 5 cases in her 15 years. And so it's not exactly her specialty. And she's not gonna like that I went to Spain, and she's not gonna like that I'm planning to go get these treated in the States, which is really hard for me because I really want my doctors to be on board and to be willing to help me, especially after the surgery, because you never know what could happen, and I just want to make sure that I have all of my bases covered. So I would really appreciate prayer for this appointment, that it would be a productive appointment, that she wouldn't yell at me, if possible, that she wouldn't dismiss me as her patient, and that maybe she would actually be open to what was found in Spain. Because she literally told me in my last appointment that she's willing to be wrong, and this is basically her showing me if she's actually okay with being wrong, because she is. So and I'm not that kind of patient who's gonna like stick it in her face and like rub it around, you know. Like I might make like a funny video that like or two about it, but I'm not the type of person to like gloat, because like I just said, I care about other people's feelings, and learning that I don't have to always go to the extreme of caring for people's feelings at the expense of my own feelings. So that feels really wrong and unbiblical to me though. But you need to treat people with respect and kindness, but you also need to stand up for yourself, and disagreeing with someone is not being unkind, in case you need that reminder. So I'm going to update you about that appointment probably next week, and I'll probably include some tips and tricks of how I prepared for that appointment, because I never go in blind and I never go in without a couple pages of research backing my side, basically. The only really disappointing thing is that next week is such a busy week. It's my birthday week and I have 4 appointments, so I don't even really get to spend it like doing things that I want. I have to spend it in hospitals, getting treatment, in doctor's appointments, disagreeing with my doctors, and that's exhausting. But it's my life, and I made it to 28, so that's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm gonna close out this video, so don't forget to give this video a like, and if you'd like to continue to follow my journey, I would love to have you, and you can subscribe to stick around. Don't forget that I post a video every Thursday, but as you have been seeing, I post shorts multiple times throughout the week. So I'll see you guys for a long form video on Thursdays, and probably see you tomorrow or later with a short. Bye!